Hey everyone, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've created 3 cards using the Every Occasion Floral Alphabet collection from Spellbinders. I'm using the letters T, J, and S, and this is using the BetterPress system. So I've got my BetterPress plate here. I am also using the BetterPress cotton porcelain cardstock. It is a specialty cardstock for this, and I'm also using the black BetterPress ink. So your BetterPress system, this piece here where I'm putting down essentially these stamps, they're metal stamps, is magnetic, and I'm placing it inside the A2 size portion of the measurements there. So that smaller rectangle is A2 sized. And I'm just making sure everything's lined up. I'm looking at the grid to make sure things are straight. I'm just kind of counting, trying to get my sentiment here to be centered in my card panel. Then to the top piece of the BetterPress system, I'm going to adhere down that cardstock. I am placing that in the A2 size measurements, and then when you put this on top, in the 4 corners there are magnets, and it just magnets together, and then when you run this through your die cut machine, it just gently presses it down because those little magnets are on springs, and you get this really beautiful image. So I'm using some of this low-tack tape from Spellbinders to hold my cardstock in place. I'm inking this up really well, making sure that, especially those solid areas, I have a nice good image. I haven't found a way to re-stamp something if I don't get a good stamp. Maybe there's a way out there to do it. I'm not sure, but I've tried it and I've not been successful, so I really try to get a good stamp to begin with. So I did the S. We are going to do the J, and then as you can see, the sentiment part butts up nicely to the large alphabet letter, which I think is really nice. So there's no question on where it goes. It fits in nicely. And then again, I'm just making sure that it lines up straight with the grid pattern on the background. So again, I'm just counting my little squares to make sure things are nice and lined up, inking this. Now this one I did not get a good stamped image, so I did do it again, but I didn't do it on camera, but I did stamp this one more time. I was able just to leave the stamp in place and ink it up again. I only run it through my die cut. This is the Platinum 6. I only run it through one time. I've not tried it both ways, but one time seems to work just fine. For my last letter, this is letter T. I'm going to get that centered, and then I've got my little sentiment here. So the S says sending love, the J says just a note, and the T here says thank you. So let's finish inking that up, place our plate on top, and then we can just run this through the Platinum 6 die cut machine. Okay, so let's do some coloring. I'm actually doing some painting with ink. I've done this before on the BetterPress system. I've done this on another card, and I just really like it. I just like the ink. It's easy to paint with this. It's kind of a no-brainer. Anybody can do it. I smushed my ink down on my work surface, and off camera to the right a little bit, I do have a little bit of water. If I want the area to be darker, I use very little water in the ink, and then I'm just adding a little bit of a dark area at the base of the petals or the leaves. Once that's done, then I add more water to that same color of ink to thin it out, and then I can go over that whole image, and so now I have a darker area and a lighter area. If you don't want to do that, you could just color the whole image one color. So for this first card panel, I'm using Celery, Peachy, and oh no, that's wrong. I'm so sorry. I am using Aspen, Melon, and Butter to color for these images. So the Aspen is the green, and then the Melon orange, and obviously Butter is yellow. But these were super quick and easy to color, and they turned out so pretty. For the S, I'm using Celery, Peachy, and Guava to color these flowers. The little leaves are so super simple to color. And I like that it goes nice and quick. Now I do have a question for you guys. If you want to comment below, do you or have you used the BetterPress system? Is it, and if you haven't, do you plan on wanting to use it in the future or trying it in the future? So yeah, let me know in the comments below if you've used it or if you're planning on using it or getting this system in the future. What I really like about it is how delicate and thin these images are, and you can get that look because it's a metal die. So you can get the really nice fine edges, and I just think it's so pretty. And it does indent in your cardstock just a little bit. So like if you run your fingers over it, you can kind of feel the indentation from the stamp set. Let's finish with our peachy color here. So that pink color is guava. And I just love how this comes to life. I love the size of this alphabet letter. And I just think it's so neat that you can just butt up your sentiment right next to it. And so you just have this really pretty card. I'm creating 1-layer cards here. I don't normally do that, but I do think the BetterPress system works really nicely with 1-layer cards. For the last color combination, I am using Sprout, Heather, and Carnation. All of these inks are Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated inks. They are water reactive, so it's perfect for this type of thing. If you don't have these inks, using a Distress Oxide or a Distress ink, because they're water reactive as well, or Distress Oxide is water reactive, that you can paint with those as well. So it's so nice. So let's get this Heather color down. So now I'm thinning it out. I added more water to paint over the lighter color of the purple. And then we can bring in the Carnation, which is a really nice pink color. Very bright, a lot of fun. I'm just using my water brush pen that I don't ever fill up with water because I don't feel like I can ever control it. So I'm just using it as a paintbrush. So any small paintbrush will work for this, even though these images are nice and small. I am going to trim down these card panels slightly, about 1/4 inch on all sides, because I do want to have the card panel to have a nice little mat behind it. Okay, in my MISTI, I took out my foam insert. I am using Hero Arts, I don't know how to pronounce this, you guys, Nouvelle Procès, I'm sure I'm murdering it, but it's a bold print, and I do have everything listed and linked below in the description. And I am using Simon Says Stamp's flannel ink. It's a light gray ink, and I just thought that would be really pretty over this whole background, stamped over the image and everything. I think it's just so lovely. So I'm going to do that for all 3 cards. I do have a little bit of adhesive in the center of my MISTI there to hold that card panel in place when I'm stamping. Now I'm also using Gina K's Kindness Silhouettes stamp set. I used this on another project recently. I'm using it again. I made a baby card not the other day for my daughter-in-law's baby shower for my new grandbaby that's coming. I just think this works so well. So I want to add these leafy images around the edges. So for each card, I am using the corresponding green that I used for the greenery, and I'm stamping with an acrylic block the 2 bigger leaf images in that stamp set because it's a smaller stamp set. And I'm just bringing that around the whole edge just to give a little something extra. I just think the greenery is so soft and pretty. And in the Simon Says Stamp color combinations, these are the lightest colors. So if you get the trio of colors per color family, this is the lightest of the 3. And just doing it with an acrylic block makes this so quick. And all the stamping turned out perfect, but if for some reason you didn't get a perfect image, I don't really think it matters because I just think it's part of the look that you're getting with this card design. So I'm going to finish up this one. This is with the Aspen ink. And then there's one more little stamp that I wanted to use. It almost looks like, but it's like a little flower thing, but it almost reminds me of when dandelions are getting ready to bloom. That's what it kind of reminds me of. And so I'm just going to put a few of those around each one of the cards, again, with that corresponding green ink that we used on each card. Super quick, super simple. It just adds a little something extra. And I like how it frames the sentiment in the center of the card. Then I want to add some sequins. So I am using Studio Katya's Crystal Clear Confetti. Oh, you know what? I'm not there yet. I'm so ahead of myself, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm using B Shimmery's Liquid Watercolor from Honeybee Stamps. I'm using, oh my gosh, I can't think of what this is called. A little dot tool, but that's not what it's called right now. And I'm adding this B Shimmery watercolor to the centers of all the flowers. So it's going to give it a little extra shine. And it's perfect size for this. Then I decided to splatter that all around the edges, just over the greenery. And it's hard to see on camera until I tilt it. Then you can see that it's super duper shiny. I use this in a lot of my videos because I just love it so much. And I felt like I wanted a little, you know, soft but extra shine. I will adhere these to a white A2 size card base, which is going to give it a nice little white mat around the edge. I'm also going to do a little bit of inking to the edge of the card panel here. I did want it to stand out away from the white card base, so I'm using that flannel ink to go around the edges. So just lightly, nothing crazy, but once this is up against that white card base, it really stands out and looks nice. Now we are going to use the Studio Katya's Crystal Clear Confetti. I'm going to do 3 on each card. I picked this confetti because it kind of mimics that B Shimmery that we did the splatter with on the background. So I'm just kind of keeping within that look. I love this. I love Studio Katya's confetti because I love that there's different sizes, and I know I've probably said that before, but that's something I really look for in confetti, is to have multiple different sizes. 3 to 4 sizes makes me really, really happy. So I'm just going to use some Barely Art glue to adhere that. And then we can look at this up close. So you can see a little bit of that shimmer and shine from that B Shimmery splatter, and then you have the crystal clear confetti that adds a shine, and all that beautiful stamping on the background with this BetterPress system. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you feel inspired by this project, and I hope you guys have a really wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate all of your support. Bye.